Okay. Um, I have a few questions for you. Feel free to answer, and if you don't feel comfortable answering, you don't have to.
Okay.
My first question is, how many days, weeks, months or years have you been with HRE or KOS?
Um, Probably in the 3 to 4 range,
Mm-hmm.
three
Would
to
you?
four years.
That's pretty interesting. That's awesome. Have you ever considered uh going back to a certain regiment or a duchy within KOF or HRE? If so, why?
Uh, let's see here. Well, yeah, I mean, basically, I started my career, in Luxembourg.
Mm,
That was my first high com position. Um, which I got about a year ago. Um, but yeah, I'd definitely like to go back to Lux again. Probably retire there. Because it was a super fun duchy back in the day, like 3 years ago. It's
right.
still a lot of fun. I still know a lot of people there, and it truly feels like home. Like a retirement spot.
Oh yeah, definitely. Would you say that you have people close in that duchy or regiment?
Yeah. Actually, me and Dringer became knights at the same time back in Luxembourg. So we have a tight relationship, and also I have a tight relationship with a lot of people there, like Prokai, who is the current duke.
Right.
I was high com, right after he left, but I've known him for years, so I have a tight bond with him, and honestly, a ton of people in Luxembourg. It'd be too many people to name.
So you would say that you're pretty well known around the higher ups.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Um, would you ever consider leaving HRE or KOF just here in the near future?
Well, yeah. If I don't go to Luxembourg after I'm done, with my term as Duke, I'll probably quit the game in general because, to be quite honest, about a month ago I did quit the game, but you know, I was wanted to come back, for a leadership position because Bohemia needed it. So
Right.
I decided to take that offer and come back.
Would you ever consider having um hold on my words here. Would you ever consider having a newer duchy or KOF regiment added in the game in near future that you would hope of?
Um, I don't know honestly where this game is going. It's if they don't come out with the revamp soon, it
Hmm.
will probably continue to go downhill. And if it goes that route, they will probably have to remove one of the duchies or KOF. As for adding new ones, I don't know much history when it comes to the Holy Roman Empire, but I do know Austria was a duchy at one point. So if they were to add a duchy, it would definitely have to be Austria.
Right. How would you say your time as Duke went? Like, could you describe that, please?
Like how it's going so far.
Yes. Yes, please. You wouldn't mind?
Um, Basically, I have a lot of my hands.
Hmm.
I'm still trying to sort of revamp my knighthood. I'm trying to revamp the duchy in general because it does have a bit of a reputation. It does have, a past that is not, let's say, smiled upon.
Right.
So I'm trying to discipline the duchy a little bit more, make it more professional,
Hmm.
but also have still keep the same skill that it's had for the past year,
Right.
if you know what
Well,
I'm saying.
yeah, I know. And what would you
But right
say?
now,
Mhm.
right now,
Yeah, go
the
ahead.
first CW, we fell in the second round, but to be honest, we had a really good chance. We maxed out at 40. I mean, that was a huge week for duchies. Everybody maxed out at 40,
Yeah.
but it was a huge moment, especially when two fire dukes, and I come out of nowhere. I have no history with Bohemia, and the people don't know me there, so they're still getting used to me. So it was kind of crazy that we rallied 40 as my first CW. But
That, that's
we're
awesome,
definitely gonna get a CW win though.
and I hope you guys do. Um, if you could choose a game pass or a certain person to get removed from the game, who and why?
A Game Pass or a certain person.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, I'm not gonna say anything about nobody on here, but as for Game Pass, I don't know. I feel like, let's see here, the long sword. You know what I'm talking about, or the great sword?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's I don't really see its great relevance, as a Game Pass. I mean, not many people buy it. A few people have, but it does not make sales. The only thing it's good for is if you're on a horse. You know,
right.
but other than that, it doesn't really. It's kind of the most irrelevant Game Pass at the moment.
Hmm.
Either that or Hammer.
What would you hope for like near future updates? Like what would you like them to add if the game doesn't die?
Hmm. Let's see. Well, I definitely would like to see, everything in the game revamped. I want
Definitely.
to have better ping, or I know better ping isn't realistic, but better optimization, you know,
Mhm.
like FPS optimization, make it to where there's less lag overall in the main game. Because that
Right.
would be great. I feel like that would boost the main game's activity a lot, and it would boost the group's activity too. If main game was actually enjoyable. So
Right.
I feel like optimization is the number one thing that
Mhm.
the devs really need to focus on when it comes to the programming.
Mhm. Would you would you want the duchies to have don't have a member cap, or would you consider them keeping their member caps?
Can you restate that?
Yes. Would you like the duchies to not have a member cap to where more people could join, or would you rather keep it how it is?
Well, I mean, it really depends on how active the community is. As for a member cap, I think it's good because it doesn't have everyone stack on one duchy. If that were to ever happen, which it doesn't happen often, and I don't think it's happened before. But if people just decide to stack on one duchy, they have a cap there that keeps it balanced in a way, you know.
Right.
So I feel like removing the cap would make it super unbalanced.
Hmm. Would you consider KOF like with their activity and stuff? How would you rate that?
For KOF, I was basically as soon as KOF came out, I was a part of it. I was Major in Royal Guard under Damos.
Hmm.
Um, Basically, it was good when it started, because it was a new thing, people wanted to play, but the activity died. It died out over the next few months.
Hmm.
It was just something to a cash grab to get people to come in, you know,
Right.
and play the game again because they had hope, that the game would get bigger and such. But for nowadays, KOF, it's they don't rally anything to events. For me, I feel like the community would be better off with it shut down for now, as
Right.
the player base can't really support it.
If you could basically, would you rather have HRE like shut down the game completely, and if not, why?
Would I have them shut down the game?
No, would you rather them shut down the game, HRE game, and if you wouldn't like them to shut down a game, why?
Well, I don't think they should shut down the game because, overall, I think the combat system is good. I mean, it's not crazy good. It's decent, but it has a certain charm to it. It keeps people coming back. At least that's
Right.
for me because I've never played a game for as long as, 4 years before, but here I am still playing this game. It's
Mhm.
it's addicting. The combat's
Yeah.
addicting. They've got a lot of good materials there. They just need to optimize the main game, and
Mhm.
good things will follow. That's what I believe.
Right. What is your opinion on the hitboxes in the game?
Well, I mean, the hitboxes are okay. Let's say if you had an opponent who was on equal ping, right?
Hmm.
But often you find yourself fighting against people with ping all over the board, you know. And
Right.
due to that, due to latency and ping number, there are some pretty you can't depict. Let's say you're on an EU server and you're NA, right?
Hmm.
And someone hits you, it looks like they're hitting you from way farther than they actually are on their screen. Latency. That's a big issue. I'm not sure how one gets rid of it. I don't think it's possible, but that is what makes people think hitboxes are busted in general. But
Hmm.
it's really a ping issue. Hitboxes themselves are okay if you're on the same ping.
Right. Well, I'm not going to waste any more of your time here, sir. Thank you so much for being a part of my interview. Would you like to say or add anything else?
Yeah, if you're not in the duchy and you're looking for a place to go, we are welcoming Bohemia. We are making a new change, and it's not going to be the old Bohemia. It's not going to be what we used to do with the corruption and yada yada. We are going to make this a great duchy again. So if you're not in a duchy and you want to join one, join Bohemia. But yeah, thanks.
No, thank you. I really do appreciate it. You have a nice night or morning, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, good night, man.
You too.